unusual home of the BU Terriers is making way for the pros tonight. A building that holds special meaning to several players, including Hilary Knight, who won a national championship here back in 2009 with the Wisconsin Badgers. Now she's tearing up the PWHL, and a huge reason why Boston is firmly in the playoff picture. Mueller looking for a lane, goes cross ice for Toppany. Toppany, shot blocked, rebound comes out, and they score! A bouncing puck, and it's Hilary Knight once more.
Third time in the last 5 games, the Boston power play has gotten them the first goal of the game, and that is big time money to count on your power play to open up the scoring. Nice pass through the seam. Toppany originally made a really good play up top because she went up high to get a puck and then drove downhill. That set the whole thing up because as she was able to pick up speed, she drew some coverage, puck thrown to the front of the net. Hilary Knight all season long has lived in that area. I'm starting to call that Knight's office because that area from the top of the paint to the bottom of the hash marks has been all hers all season, and she has capitalized on a lot of goals there.
I like Knight's office. We know about the OV office.
That's right.
That is Hilary Knight's office, one of the best goal scorers in the women's game.
If she spent any more time in that area, she'd be paying rent.
Battle for the loose puck, scooped up by Daniel. Sticks with it. Emma Woods right into the glove of Frankel. Oh my goodness!
This was perfect Emma Woods, who just tracked the play, kept her stick down, and then jumped into a spot where she could be available, and a really good shot. Watch Woods as she tracks through, just stays with it, stick down, and a quick delivery to the net. Almost beats Frankel. Didn't waste a whole lot of time playing with it because she didn't have a whole lot of room.
Gosling gains the zone now for the Sceptres. Centers for Miller, and another save by Frankel. The Fleet netminder putting on a show tonight. Final 20 seconds here as Boston continues to apply pressure.
At 23 white, Megan Carter is totally out of gas. She can barely move the puck.
Hilary Knight down to Mueller below the goal line. Low to high, back to Mueller. 4 seconds to go. Mueller shot right on. 0.8 seconds to go, but Campbell makes the save. And the horn will sound, we think.
Referee is telling both sides don't move. There's 0.3 left, and there'll be a face-off coming up to the right of Campbell. Campbell started to skate off, and here's that last second save she made. Really good possession shift by Boston. There were 2 occasions where Toronto really needed their defense core to make a hard play, meaning they needed to get a puck past the first layer of defense, so it didn't get turned around on them, and both times they couldn't, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that it was a really long shift, and Boston put Toronto defensively under a lot of duress.
Important face-off here with 0.8 seconds on the clock. They sounded the horn before the puck was even dropped.
Somebody can't wait to get popcorn.
So they'll line up once more. The ref checking to make sure we're all on the same page.
Meanwhile, I'm very surprised Boston didn't pull a goalie here. I mean, 0.8 is down. We're up to 1 second. I think it's going to go back down to 0.8.
No, good point by you.
But, I'm just really surprised. It's not a lot of time. Basically, you've got time for a one-timer off the drop. But at the very least, it gives you an extra stick.
Instead, no shot.
See what I mean?
before the horn. And Kristen Campbell will indeed be able to skate to the room. Unscathed in the second, but Boston still leading 1-0.
I think one of the biggest things in crease management is knowing when to cover the puck. Frankel generally is really good at it.
A blast by Monroe that went just wide. Held in by Flanagan. Brings it around the board for Watts. Watts. And that shot dead on. Frankel had it with the glove. Had some trouble with it. Now has to fight it off once more. And it's in! The Sceptres just keep coming. And they tied at 1. Daryl Watts
Toronto just stayed on it. They win a couple of races, they get inside checks, win a couple of battles. Another rebound that gets punched into a bad spot, and now Frankel's in scramble mode. And Boston can't recover. There's the shot that flooded towards the net. Frankel can't find it, gets trapped off the goal line. Another loose puck in front of the net that got put into a spot where Toronto can pounce, and they do. And from behind the net, they get this game tied up.
What a heads-up play by Daryl Watts there. Look at the overhead. Just flings it in, noticing that Frankel is at the top of the crease. Tried to squeeze it with the glove, but has had a bit of trouble in the last few minutes finding that puck. Shelvin a blast. Deflected and in! Just like that, the Sceptres take the lead.
Just a simple play by the Sceptres, throwing one to the front of the net, and they hit pay dirt. They would have battled up at the blue line to keep a puck in, and just a simple shot. There's a lot of traffic and a lot of sticks on the ice. This thing hits something on the way in. There's the shot. There's the deflection up top. It might be Scamurra who gets the goal if it wasn't batted in late. Watch the tip, stick down. It just changes the angle of the puck on Frankel, who can't get it clean. Toronto sets up a really good double screen, and Shelvin just waited. Sometimes when you're a defender, you're looking at the net, and when you can't see the goalie, it's time to shoot.
The hockey is certainly heating up across the PWHL as well. Renata fast, skates it all around the net, takes a shot, scores! How did that get through? Renata fast has just given Toronto its third straight goal as they lead it 3-1.
Very reminiscent of this game you and I did in New York when Toronto was there, where they just scored in bunches. Fast just stays with it. That is way too much room. That is just a defensive miscue on losing your check. All of a sudden, Fast came around the net, and everybody in Boston thought she was going to come up around the top of the dots. Look how she's getting defended. Gable bailed out of that little spot in front of the net. Maloney's usually great in that area.
Mueller trying to get it back. Knight alongside her. Toppany kicked out. The puck is loose right in front of the score! Hilary Knight, with her second of the game, has pulled the Fleet within one.
Kristen Campbell's a little hot. She thought she had this covered, but it was the heavy wrist shot by Toppany that got this all set up. She let one rip right towards the front of the net, and then it sat there loose, and the officials had their eyes on the puck at all times, and Knight just stayed with it. So she scored 2 goals from a combined 4 feet off the net, and both of them have been just like this with hard work, and you can clearly see that was not covered. The officials are talking about it. I don't know if it's going to get looked at more. It's not. Officials point to the middle circle. That is the right call. That's a good goal.
Watts gets it back. Feeds Miller. Back to Watts. Watts shoots! Snipes! What a laser! And Daryl Watts reclaims a 2-goal lead with her second of the night.
Sceptres with real good patience, real good possession, and in a 5-on-3 you can pull your points in a whole lot closer. She went blocker the first time. Frankel made a great save, changed it up and goes the other way, and hits the top of the net for a big goal over the glove of Aerin Frankel. Boston was making a bit of a push, took the penalty, took the second penalty, and nothing Frankel could do about that one. Keller comes out of the box. Really nice job by Toronto in the third period. They had some stretches of this game where Boston really skated them into the ground.
Knight, right on! Great save by Kristen Campbell to deny Hilary Knight of the hat trick. And another icing now for the Fleet.
If nothing else, Boston has established that they are going to be a big threat off the dot on the left wing side of the ice because they have generated a ton of chances off of this look. This time Brand takes the draw, and she's been good on faceoffs all year.
And we will get a whistle as Megan Carter and Kelly Babstock go at it. Now Keller getting involved along with Renata Fast. Plenty of nastiness to set up what will be an interesting final meeting of the season between these two teams after the break.
These two teams can look in the mirror and see somewhat mirror images of each other. They're both really good teams. They're both well coached. They both have goaltending. They both can play with a physical edge to them. Each is counted on their power play or the special teams to be good for them. This wound up being a best of 5. This would be a great one.
Babstock goes to the box for the Fleet. And that should do it for this game with just 2.8 seconds to go. So a 9-game point streak that saw 7 wins will come to an end now for Boston. The Fleet back in action this Saturday in the final stop of the TakeOver Tour, which will go to St. Louis, Missouri.
A couple of big events for St. Louis. TakeOver Tour coming in. It's done great over the course of the season. Another successful venture by the PWHL with the neutral site games. There's the
Jesse Carver delivering a bit of a blow.
Initial scrum and secondary in the third one.
Well, it's usually the retaliation, right, that gets called?
Yep. It's funny, Keller and Fast almost looked at each other and said, oh, it's you. We shouldn't be doing this.
Well, those two teams will square off in the Women's World Championship with Fast on Team Canada and Keller, of course, a steady presence on the blue line for the American team.
It was a real good night for Courtney Kessel and the Fleet for a couple of periods, and Toronto just came out period number 3 and left it all out here and totally dominated the period. Babstock gets 5. She's only going to serve 3 seconds of it. But and Boston with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the ice. Too many. That's the delay right here. Somebody's got to go.
Somebody has to go. Bit of confusion, but they will drop the puck for the final ticks on the clock. And that'll do it on this game. A 4-2 win for the Sceptres. A hard-fought comeback for this Toronto team that will enjoy a 3-point victory